wanna be a billionaire, billionaire, yeah, yeah.
I wanna be a billionaire, so freaking bad. Buy all of the things I never had. I wanna be on the cover of Forbes magazine, smiling next to Oprah and the Queen. Oh, every time I close my eyes, I see my name in shining lights. Yeah, a different city every night. Oh, I swear the world better prepare for when I'm a billionaire.
Yeah, I would have a show like Oprah. I would be the host of Everyday Christmas. Give Travi a wish list. I'd probably pull a Angelina and Brad Pitt and adopt a bunch of babies that ain't never had shit. Give away a few Mercedes like, here lady, have this. And last but not least, grant somebody their last wish. It's been a couple months that I've been single, so you can call me Travis Claus minus the ho-ho. Get it? I'll probably visit where Katrina hit, and damn sure do a lot more than FEMA did. Yeah, can't forget about me, stupid. Everywhere I go, I'ma have my own theme music.
Oh, every time I close my eyes,
what you see, bro?
I see my name in shining lights. Oh, yeah.
What else?
A different city every night. I swear the world better prepare for when I'm a billionaire. When I'm a billionaire.
Let's go. I'll be playing basketball with the president, dunking on his delegates. Then I compliment him on his political etiquette. Toss a couple million in the air just for the heck of it, but keep the 5s, 20s, 10s, and bins completely separate. Yeah, I'll be in a whole new tax bracket. We in recession, but let me take a crack at it. I'll probably take whatever's left and just split it up, so everybody that I love can have a couple bucks. And not a single tummy around me would know what hungry was, eating good, sleeping soundly. I know we all have a similar dream. Go in your pocket, pull out your wallet, put it in the air and sing.
I wanna be a billionaire, so freaking bad.
So bad.
Buy all of the things I never had.
Buy everything.
I wanna be on the cover of Forbes magazine, smiling next to Oprah and the Queen.
What up, Oprah?
Oh, every time I close my eyes,
What you see, bro?
I see my name in shining lights. Oh, yeah.
What else?
A different city every night. I swear the world better prepare for when I'm a billionaire.
Yeah. Sing it.
When I'm a billionaire. I wanna be a billionaire, so freaking bad.
Dangote, see they find money. No level, no find money. I know they sleep on the money. Who happy? Where make I no go find money? I know they send anybody. Me at the hustle, go check up. Make you hustle, my luck. I know be your lord, I know be baller. Oh, I'm a to balla fuck up. I go show you my color. She want to pay me a lot, balla. Give me ganga more, yeah, I want balla. They matter plenty, I know me only sata. Oh, no. You're gonna listen well. When I dey strive and I dey hustle, waiting I dey find Kaluba I dey find. When I dey move from place to place, waiting I dey find. Now the dollar I dey find. And I don't do yes. And many people don't tell me no. Money lati lowo, di dandan. Sorry, I'm your be mother, yeah. Is it because I dey do and for love? If I get the cash, I go tell you love, I go give you cash, I go be your sponsor. Money, I'm your be mother, yeah. Is it because I dey do and for love? If I get the money, you go know. Till I go out to the kingdom come. Because Dangote, see they find money. I know they sleep on the money. Who happy? Where make I no go find money? I know they send anybody. Me at the hustle, go check up. Make you hustle, my luck. I know be your lord, I know be baller. Oh, I'm a to balla fuck up. I go show you my color. She want to pay me a lot, balla. Give me ganga more, yeah, I want balla. They matter plenty, I know me only sata. Oh, no. Me ganga, la matassa. Happy you forget, say happy the ganga. Oh man, going ganga, lori ganga. Oh man, going ganga, lori ganga. Very low, girl, be. Very young ganga, no nu ganga. Bami nu ganga, yeah. I go there, my money, do. My money, yeah. My money, do. Who are we to go to sleep? Go to sleep, yeah. Only G-man. Lucky chat, they find money. I'm gonna take they find money. They don't like they find money. Why me no go find money? Find money. They look at they find money. They look at they find money. Why me no go find money? My money. Why me no go find money? Say me not give you chance to my baby. Your body fire but me a be dragon. Baby I no feel like you's a bad one. And when you bust a wine, you're the center of attraction. Mommy, all I wanna do is do me things all over.
Of ARM Engage. As you can see, we've gone digital. So I'd love to give a shout out, say hello to everyone on YouTube, Zoom, Instagram Live. Hey everyone. My name is Frances Onyemechi Udufu, and I am your host today. I'm super excited for today's session, but first I want to do like a safety check. So by the show of hands, the emoji hands, I want to see how many people out there have, one, been social distancing. By a show of hands, okay, I see a few hands going up. What about wearing your face mask as needed? Okay, even more hands, awesome. I hope you all are telling the truth, but awesome. And what about washing your hands and sanitizing your environment? Even more hands, nice one. It's really important that we all band together and ensure that we flatten the curve. We're in this together, and let's just remain safe out there, guys. All right, on to why we're here. ARM Engage is a platform for sharing financial advice insights, and stories that will hopefully push you all to your fullest potential or help you realize your fullest potential. And today's event is actually themed Hustle to Passion. And here we have three industry titans that will be sharing their experiences about how they hustled to passion. And of course, one musical special guest that will leave us with some motivational lyrics, motivational melodies. So I hope you all stay on to the very end. Usually during sessions like this, we'll typically have chops, freebies, and the likes. But because this is a virtual experience, the chops are on you. Sharing their experiences about how they hustle to passion. And of course, one musical special guest that will leave us with some motivational lyrics, motivational melodies. So I hope you all stay on to the very end. Usually during sessions like this, we'll typically have chops, freebies, and the likes. But because this is a virtual experience, the chops are on you. Sharing their experiences about how they hustle to passion. And of course, one musical special guest that will leave us with some motivational lyrics, motivational melodies. So I hope you all stay on to the very. All right, so like I was saying, typically during sessions like these, you'll have some chops, some freebies, and the likes. But because this is a virtual experience, the chops are on you, but not to worry, the freebies are still on us. Just make sure you stay on to the very end so you can stand a chance to win. Now, moving right along, we will be having our very first guest. Her name is Mrs. Banke Lawal, aka BM Pro. So Mrs. Lawal is a Nigerian makeup artist and the founder of BM Pro Makeup Group, a makeup and cosmetology firm. Her makeup is a chance to win. Now, moving right. Her makeup line, BM Pro.
Banke's not here. Oh, see, she's not here.
Oh, okay. I just received word that Banke is not online yet. So we'll go ahead and move on to our very next special guest. So next up, we have James Olmos. James is the founder of FEMO Vision Limited, an AMAA, AMVCA, and Future Awards nominated filmmaker and producer who holds a film directing diploma and a Bachelor of Arts in Creative Arts from Unilag. He started off his professional career as an actor in Tokwe Idowu's Shallow Waters and Franca Brown's Serpent in Paradise. He was also a cast in Mnet's biggest soap opera, Tinsel. I'm sure you all are very familiar with that. And since then, he has directed and produced several shows, including Mnet's critically acclaimed Ajoche. But before we have James grace us with his presence online today, let's take a glimpse of a clip from Ajoche. Some fascinating cinematography there. I mean, as you can see, this is definitely a must watch. But without further ado, let's go ahead and welcome James to ARM Engage. Hi, James.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. It's an absolute pleasure.
Awesome, such a delight to have you here. I mean, looking at the clip alone from Ajoche, it's very clear that that content right there was only birthed through passion. I mean, we really want to hear your story, how you broke through the film industry, and especially what, how you feel about passion and hustle. What comes first in your mind?
Okay, thank you very much. I'll just briefly thank you guys for being here. My journey, I started, I was in the University of Lagos. Originally, to be honest, and it'll be part of my story, when I was trying to get into school, I went in to do urban and regional planning. But at some point, I realized after 1 year of school that, you know, my passion, I didn't enjoy urban and regional planning. I mean, it was, is like when you're getting into, it's just one of those, I mean, you just fill it on your form, and I mean, if you enter, you get in. But after a year, I just realized that I wasn't enjoying myself. Like I asked myself, if I leave school, what will I be doing as an urban planner? Not that being an urban planner is a bad thing, but I mean, I didn't think it was for me. So I left school and I wrote JAMB again. And then I went to read creative arts. Creative arts was the closest thing for me to the theater arts and you know, filmmaking. You know, so I did that for 4 years. I went to serve, came back, started my company, did my first film called Awakening, and that was nominated for an AMVCA. And then I went on to do projects for Ebony Live TV. I did 2 films to be exact. And then in 2014, I series produced a show for Ike Osakiodoa called Highlights with Ike. From there, I did a TV show called Head Over Heels. And then I did Ajoche. And then I was the consulting producer for Unbroken, which is showing currently on DSTV. And there's a new show that we're about to create, which I really can't say much about, but it's coming to your screens in September. But to answer the question, what comes first? Is it passion or is it, you know, the hustle? But first, let's look at what passion means. Now, if you Google passion, it says any powerful or compelling emotion or feeling. So if you probably, you know, have a compelling feeling or powerful feeling towards something. So when you say, I passionately love somebody, you have a powerful feeling about that particular person. So if you say, I passionately love making akara, just saying, it means that you are very passionate about making bean cake, right? So that's the first thing. Now, then let's look at what hustle means. Now, hustle means, the direct definition of hustle is push roughly or jostle. But then if you put it in terms of work, it means to proceed or work rapidly or energetically. So when you have those 2 definitions, then you ask yourself, in life, if you want to stay relevant and successful in a particular thing, do you want to keep hustling or do you want to love something and then hustle? So it's either do you want to keep hustling, so you're working, so all you're doing is just working. So you can be a DSTV connector or a laptop fixer, but do you just want to keep fixing it? Do you enjoy doing what you're doing, first of all, or are you doing it just because you have to do it? 2 separate things. Now, there's nothing wrong with hustling, and there's not that hustling is a bad thing. And there are some people who will always hustle. Maybe somebody can be a bank teller for the rest of his life. And there's nothing wrong with that. I can't fault anybody for not having a passion about something. But there are some, if you want to maximize, or if you want to, and I don't want to say go far in life, but if you want to basically just maximize the work that you do and the things that you do, then you have to add some sort of passion to it. You have to enjoy what you're doing. Now, if you don't enjoy your hustle, you may not last long while doing the hustle. So for instance, you may never have the patience for growth. So for instance, let's pretend you had to get a job because you, let me give an example, had to be a bank teller. Now, you can be a bank teller for 20 years, but you just never enjoyed being a bank teller for 20 years, but you're just there. Now, because you don't see any advancement, or you don't want to really, like, you know, I mean, all you see is bank teller. You can be a bank teller and there's no growth. There's no room for growth. You're not going to become a manager. Not that you can't, but you may just see yourself as, I just want to do the work 9 to 5 and make some money. Because there are people who believe that all they need to do is just keep working, make some money, keep working, and that's it. And that's hustling. Secondly, you may not be focused. You may get bored easily, and you may want to move to something else, right? So today you may decide, Oh, I want to work in an oil servicing firm. You work there for 5 years and then you get bored. Oh, I want to work as a makeup artist. You probably do that for 6 years and you get bored. Oh, I want to be a songwriter. You probably do that and you get bored. Now, there's nothing wrong with doing all those things. But remember when I mentioned focus, sometimes you see that there are people who have trained themselves in a particular career in their life, and they keep growing from one place to the other, one place to the other. So for instance, you can have somebody who started as a pro boxer, before you know it is a manager, or sorry, before he gets to a manager, he's training people. Before you know it, he probably owns some boxing federation tomorrow. Because he's passionate about that, he continues to grow in that particular line of career. I'll give you an example. I don't watch football, but Zinedine Zidane. Now, he used to be a player. Now he's a manager. Maybe tomorrow, you never know, he probably will own a football club. But if you look at him, he's passionate about football. And in that football bubble, because he loves football, whatever, all his hustle, it's one direction, and there's nothing wrong in that. But he's growing, he's gaining more experience, and he's growing in that line, of work, and becoming more and more valuable in the football scene. Now, talking about passion, because some people may be like, oh yeah, I'm hustling, so yeah, how do I find my passion? What do I, how do I understand? What am I going to be passionate? What am I passionate about? I don't know what it is. I don't even know how to be passionate about anything. And I think you need to ask yourself a couple of questions, and I'll just run through that because I don't know how many minutes I have. I don't have about 7 minutes. So I'll run through that. Now, ask yourself a question. If you want to find out what you need to be passionate about as opposed to just hustling, ask yourself 2 questions. Number 1, what can I do for 5 years straight without getting paid?
Okay.
What can I do for 5 years straight without getting paid? So long and short, if they don't pay you to do something, but you shall want to do it, what will it be? Secondly, you have to ask yourself, work out what you hate doing. I'll give you an example. I hate math, so I can never be a math lecturer. It's not possible, right? I hate cooking. I only know how to boil egg, so I can never be a chef. Not that I can't learn how to be one, but I'm not passionate about it. So there's no point. I'm just going to waste my time, right? And I'll give you another example.
All right, James, can you hear me? Okay,
Yeah, sorry. So people keep saying, sorry, I'm so sorry about that. So can you hear me?
Yes, you were talking
Yeah.
about you find out what you hate or what you don't like doing.
Yeah, so find out what you don't like doing, and I said that I don't like to cook. Now you can't, even if I learn how to cook, I don't enjoy cooking. So I'll give an example. I heard a story about a guy who he went to school to study medicine just because his parents said he needed to study medicine. I'm just giving an example. Now, obviously, he's not passionate about medicine, but he just did it. When he finished, he dropped his certificate and went to do whatever it is that he wanted to do. Now, it's a good thing, but you see, and I don't want to say there's a bad side of it, but the bad side of it is that he just wasted 8 years or however number of years doing something that he didn't enjoy doing, right? So find out what you don't like to do. Then find out the things that you're mediocre at. Find out the things that you're not good at. Like, for instance, I said, I don't know how to cook, and I don't think I can cook, so there's no point, right? I love playing video games. There's some video games, some genres of video games that I don't touch. There's no point. I can't be an expert in it, so what's the point, right? So find out what you're mediocre at. When you find out what you're mediocre at, it gives room for you to know what you're good at, right? And number 4, forget that eureka moment. Sometimes you're sitting there.
The moment you said?
Yeah, forget the eureka moment.
Okay.
Now, yeah, so sometimes I'll give you an example. Sometimes you may wake up in the morning and you'll be like, hey, I have an idea. I want to start making bread. Just because you had an idea at that point in time that you want to start making bread doesn't mean that it may be something you're passionate about. When I was younger, I had an idea, because I watched some documentary about how to generate power from 2 magnets and copper. At that point in time, I thought about building this gigantic power station that would supply Nigeria with 24 hours power supply. look at me now making films. So yeah, doesn't mean, you know, that bright idea is what you're passionate about. I've had so many other bright ideas, and I'm sure all of you have had different bright ideas in the past, but it doesn't mean, you know, you're passionate about that particular idea. Maybe one thing out of it you're probably passionate about, but you definitely know what it is. Now, number 5, remember what you loved doing as a child. From when I was a kid, I loved watching TV and I loved watching cartoons. I enjoy it. Like I would literally just, that was all I would do all day. Now I'm creating TV content because I enjoyed doing it. Now, the 6th one is create something brand new. It's different from the eureka moment, but I mean, when you have the eureka moment, try to create something brand new and see if it's something that you would be passionate about. And lastly, try to visualize. So like I said, I'm a TV producer, and the greatest part of my job is the process of making TV. So I watch a lot of behind the scene moments, and I imagine myself doing those things. Or when we're in pre-production, we're putting all these things in place. Sorry?
So putting the scenes together, so visualizing what has been written.
No, just visualize yourself doing something you're passionate about. That's what I mean. So like I was saying, I love making TV stuff. So I would sit down and always visualize myself in the production.
James, it looks like you're on mute.
Usually help me to enjoy where I am currently. You know, like it will make me look forward to the things that I want to do. So yeah, once you add all these things that I've said, and then you put it together in your hustle mode. So you're passionate about something, you love doing something, and it doesn't matter what it is. The minute you find out what you're passionate about, oh, I love making clothes. Oh, I love frying akara. Oh, I love making music. It will keep you consistent. Once you hustle, your hustle will keep you consistent with that passion. And that is how you keep growing from one stage to another. Thank you so much.
Man, James, first I was like, okay, you've really taken us on a journey. So, but now I see your handwork. I mean, I see why you are in the film industry. Because I literally felt like I was on a journey, starting from when you talked about your major, and then to you describing passion and hustle. I love the way you broke it down, because sometimes I feel like hustle can be romanticized, and then passion sometimes can be discouraged. So thank you so much for sharing such insight. For the sake of time, we do have one question from the audience. That question is, what would you say your biggest setback is or was, and how did you deal with it?
I think my biggest setback in my first 2 years of me saying that I wanted to be, and this is very important. In my first 2 years of me saying that I wanted to be a filmmaker, I wasn't making money. So my first film tanked. So this is me being honest. We spent about 5 million making the film, and we made like 400K, right? And we're owing people money. And that made me depressed. And then I did 2 films for Ebony Life TV, as I said, and I didn't make any money. So I'm sitting in my house, I'm married, you know, my wife is working, and there's no money coming in, and I'm borrowing money, you know, from my friends to survive. I couldn't even pay my rent at some point. And then I thought to myself, why am I wasting time being passionate about something that has no monetary value? And so I think that those 3 years or 2 years of my life was a huge setback for me, because it put me in a place mentally where I was about to give up. Now, why I say it's a setback is because it was a life situation that put me in a wrong place. Sometimes you could be passionate about something and then it's not working. And then, you know, you'd ask yourself, you know, how much have I lost? What am I really doing with my life? However, what I did was keep being I was still focused on my passion, but I took a different route. So instead of being an independent filmmaker, I went and found a job at a TV station as a producer. Now that divide, what it did for me was go through a different path of film and TV, but it was more, in quote, valuable. So the long and short is, I'm still doing TV and film, but I'm doing it in a corporate fashion. If I had given up, if like the setback for me was doing my first film and, you know, making that loss and making the losses on TV, that was a setback. But for me, I didn't give up. I took a different route, but I was still focused on doing TV. So and this is not me trying to be cliche by, you know, trying to make this, oh, you have to be passionate. But if I wasn't passionate enough, I probably would have dropped out. I wouldn't have been consistent. So since the time I started till now, it's been 10 years. I don't know if that answers the question.
No, that definitely answers the question. I mean, I appreciate your candid experience, you know, getting to the point that sometimes passion doesn't pay, but that doesn't mean you let go of passion. You stay focused and you go ahead full force so that you can eventually create content like Ajoche. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for you know, sharing your stories with us, your experiences with us, and spending time with us today at ARM Engage. Thank you. All right. So you all heard from James as he gave us some information and his candid experiences of his breaking through the film industry and finding that in the beginning his passion wasn't paying, but he decided to be steadfast and stay focused on what he truly believed was his calling. So all of you filmmakers, potential producers, actors and actresses out there, make sure you stay focused and use James' story as a point of inspiration. So we're going to go ahead and move Mrs. Banke Lawal online. And first I'll go ahead and introduce her. So Mrs. Banke Lawal is the CEO and founder of BM Pro. So BM Pro is a makeup group and cosmetology firm that was birthed in 2006. And it's the first Nigerian makeup line of color that was designed with the Nigerian women in mind. So, I mean, if you've ever heard of BM Pro, if you ever checked out any of her work or her portfolio, you definitely know what I'm saying. She's truly a beauty industry maven. So without further ado, let's go ahead and welcome Mrs. Banke Lawal to ARM Engage. Welcome, Mrs.
Hi,
Banke.
Frances. Hello, everyone.
Welcome.
Thank you for having Thank you for having me. I'm excited. And I'll be sharing my story, and I hope that it inspires someone to pick up their passion and turn it into a source of livelihood.
Awesome. We're looking forward to it. I mean, if you look at the digital era now, where everyone's so concerned with, you know, how they look, filters, and so on and so forth. I mean, there's been so much interest garnered within concerning the beauty industry or within the business of looking good. So I mean, we're looking forward to hearing you share your stories on your experience breaking into the beauty industry, as well as when passion sometimes was just not enough for you to forge forward.
Okay, so I'll give you a little story. When this whole COVID-19 started, it seemed like it was the end for us beauty enthusiasts. I mean, everyone was of the opinion that parties were going to stop. There was not going to be any need for makeup and all of that. But here we are today. At BM Pro, we moved our business online, and things have taken a positive turn. So I would always say that wherever there's a will, there's always going to be a way. I'll give you an insight on how I started doing makeup. I went to Unilag, and back then in year one, I would always do makeup for everyone. I was the go-to person to have a face beat. I became popular, and I was always booked out from year one up until my 4th year. I studied English, and I feel like the course that I did afforded me the time to be able to practice my hobby. I loved doing my own makeup, and people would ask that I help with theirs, and I would even accost total strangers to help them do their makeup. Some people will brush me off, and some people will be so excited. Fast forward to my final year, I graduated, and I was just always booked out. I was always working. I was very dedicated to doing makeup, I must say. I would, hop on the bikes very early in the mornings, go to all the nooks and crannies of Lagos and outside Lagos. And I just basically became known as this person who always did makeup. So after graduating, I did my NYSC. Again, I served at my dad's company, because I don't think any company would have employed me with my booking schedule. And so I did my NYSC, completed that. And then from my savings, I went on to open my first makeup studio in Ikoyi. Looking back over the years, I would say that what has helped me in my business is the passion that I have and the determination to make it. I always saved. I've never been a frivolous person, and I've always been dedicated. And I feel like those are some of the things, the traits and the attitude, the attributes that have helped me become who I am today. I'm an artist, and they always say that artists don't know how to run businesses very well. So I feel like I've run my business on my own very well up to an extent, but with growth comes expansion, and there we've had to employ different people to run different arms of the business. So with growth, structure has to be put in place. Like I said, I'm first an artist, so I've made those mistakes that the typical artist would make. Work and not get paid, but that wasn't really my. I've always believed in working and getting paid. I hardly ever even did freebies for people, because again, I've always believed in working and getting paid. And I always made my friends and my family members pay for my services. Even if it was an eyebrow shaping I was doing, you were going to pay me. So from the onset, I've always been a trader. Coupled with the yearn to succeed and the determination to hustle and hustle well. I believe that's helped me a lot in my business. Again, when I started BM Pro, there weren't that many makeup artists. So it was a new industry. The artists around the artists that have come after me, I always say that they're very lucky. We've had to break down the gates, so to speak. You'd get to, for example, you get to a bride's house, the father would say, "Oh, who is this? What are you doing? Makeup, painting? Go and wait outside." We didn't mind, we'd wait. You paid us, so we're there to serve you. But these days, even the parents know the importance of the makeup artist. I've been in places where the bride just refuses to go to church because her makeup is not done. So there's a lot of importance on what we do, and we have made it so. That buttresses that always makes me feel like anyone can create any industry. You just have to have you have to follow some laid down rules that you don't want. You have to follow the laid down rules created for that industry, and you abide by them. And in that way, the people patronizing you will follow, they'll fall into place. So passion is very important if you decide to embark on any business. But again, determination, hard work, those are the other very important attributes that you need to have. I've done makeup now since 1998, and we're still going strong. We've expanded the company. Now we have our makeup line created with the Nigerian woman in mind. That we started in 2005, and it's been embraced so positively. I can't even believe that this wasn't available from the very beginning. But like I always say, the your industry will grow depending on the effort that you put into it. Whatever business that you decide to embark on, put in a lot of work, determination. Your passion will help, because passion is what keeps you when you don't get paid. But then again, you're not going into a business to not get paid for what you're doing. So passion will tide you over, but then it's a hustle. So put in the structure that you have to put in to make sure that you don't get cheated and you get paid your work.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing your trailblazing experience. I mean, when I think about it, or when I listen to your story, I hear a lot of support from like your family members and friends. I know you mentioned in your dad's company because you had a crazy schedule concerning your makeup business. And then you also mentioned having friends who pay for your services. But some of us aren't that lucky,
Yep.
right? So, I mean, I'm curious to know, with that sort of support, if you didn't have that kind of backing, what sort of advice would you give someone who is in this, what appears to be an informal market and doesn't necessarily have the support, or the support from their friends or their family?
The key thing is to offer something that is out of this world, something that is not easily available to everyone. Something that it's not new, but it's peculiar to you. Your quality should be peculiar to you. Now there are 1,001 makeup artists, but BM Pro we're still there. I mean, I've done makeup for over 20 years and I'm still there. It just means that, I'm one of those people, I never rest on my oars. I'm constantly reinventing myself. So if you're cooking, for example, if you decide that you want to make food, don't just cook run-of-the-mill foods. I always say that Nigerians are even the best people to test whether your business is going to succeed. Nigerians will put you in your place. They will help you. They will criticize you. And they will just, for me, those criticisms make me want to be better. I don't know, nobody should boast of knowing everything, because really you don't. What may appeal to A may definitely won't appeal to B. But the thing is, if you're providing a service, there's nothing new that is being done under the sun. Just take it like that. Before I started, there were international makeup artists. I wouldn't even say that there were Nigerian makeup artists. Chief Mrs. Opera Benson, she's been there for years. But I focused on a certain type of makeup, aesthetically pleasing makeup, beauty makeup. There's editorial makeup, there's special effects makeup, there's makeup for the dead. Those are different. Those are different aspects in makeup artistry. Now, if someone decides that they want to be a makeup artist for the dead, that's a fantastic market. Special effects as well. I don't think that there are many makeup artists that do that. Again, catering, tailoring, designers, come up with something new. Don't just start following the bandwagon and say, oh yes, now everyone is wearing pink dresses. Let's all get in there. No, break break the ceiling, bring black clothes. If you're a designer, you could start a boutique selling only black clothes. It's the way that you market it. And luckily these days, there are 1,001 marketing tools easily available to you online that you can tap into. So I would never accept that I was lucky. No, because I feel like luck, but again, I was coming from, I'm in a market that doesn't even believe in paying for what is doing makeup, what is braiding my hair. I can have someone braid my hair for 1,000 naira, but the people that do braids, it becomes a luxury service. So if you're delivering in those markets, it's how you push yourself. That is, and like I said, there's no business that is new under the sun. It is how you make it yours. It's how you reinvent it. It's how you keep plowing back into it. It's the direction that you push that business to.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Lawal. I'm sure you motivated so many of our potential, beauty entrepreneurs that are on our various platforms watching today. Now, for the sake of time, this very last question is going to be, it's pretty short. So I'm going to have you answer it in 3 words. So the question is,
okay.
Your first check, how did you feel and what did you buy? Actually, 2 words. How did you feel and what did you buy? Your first big check.
My first paycheck, I must have bought food because I'm such a foodie. I probably, I don't recall there anywhere. I was in Unilag, and I must have just been happy to have, received money that came in at the right time. I do not remember what I bought with my first paycheck. I was probably in my year 1. I was in my year 1. Where did I do my NYSC? That was in Lagos. I was at the Adekunle local government. That was where I did my CD. And I serve in Terra Technical Engineering Company. So.
Awesome. Awesome. So it looks like we have one more question from the audience. The panelist, the attendee is asking, your interview with Punch newspaper, you said you would not make up for the dead because of your first experience. Can you run us through why you ended up feeling that way? I mean, I'm sure.
So he was, yes, she was elderly, and I was really scared when I got there. You know, the whole solemnity, and everyone had long faces, and the body was just there. It was immobile. It was cold. It felt like I was knocking wood, like I was applying products on wood. And I was younger. So, you know, my days after that, I would remember her, and my nights were fraught with nightmares. But these days, you know, I'm more mature. I'm older. So I'm more philosophical with the dead now. And okay. It's a breeze. It's I wouldn't say fun, but it's amazing how the human body can, you know, be when it's just come out of the fridge. It just feels like plastic, and you're just amazed at the effectiveness of quality makeup products. They deliver. Like, you put on the brown foundation, the skin looks so beautiful, and I've done, you know, a couple of people's makeup, and they look so beautiful in depth. And for me, I was so, you know, every time I've had an opportunity to do that, it feels like giving back. I'd done the person's makeup while they were alive, so doing it now as a sign of honor is just, they looked beautiful.
That's such an interesting perspective. I giggled when you mentioned that you are philosophical during, you know, now when you think about death. And it's interesting that you mentioned there still being beauty, even having the person pass over. And it just made me feel like it kind of showed how passionate you are about your work, and the true meaning of what it means to be a makeup artist is beyond, okay, having access to great cosmetic products. And I feel like from what you said, it's about, even in death or having someone transcend, you're making them look beautiful. And there's just something to be said about that. Thank you so much.
Have you, you know, you've had a makeover, I'm sure, and the feeling that comes with looking stunning, it's amazing. It's such a pickup. It's a confidence booster, and I'm always happy to witness, you know, when you've done someone's makeup and they're just, their spirits are right up there.
Level on 100.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for what you're doing in history and making Nigerian women feel and look good. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, ARM.
Oh, okay. I know I mentioned earlier about us having freebies, but this time, if you take a look at your screen right this minute, you'll see a series of numbers. These are not phone numbers. Nope. These are airtime codes. Yes, you heard me right. Free airtime. We won't fall your hand. When I said we're having freebies, here they go. So you want to ensure that you sharply plug these numbers into your mobile phone so that you have a chance to win some free airtime. And if you're on Instagram, take a look in the comment section and you'll see some numbers being dropped by the handle ARM Engage 2020. Do not carry last. This is your opportunity to win big. So go ahead and plug in those numbers. All right, so moving right along. I mean, if we think about it, many of us, if not all of us, have been either on lockdown or quarantine for the past 3 to 4 months. And naturally, we realized all the things that we used to do in person are now digital. So, I mean, there's no better time than to brush up on your digital etiquette than now. So for the next few minutes, I'm going to share a few tips and tricks on how to prepare for your next virtual interview. All right, so tip number 1, you have a good background. You don't want your background to be, cluttered. You don't want your background to be a distraction. You want to make sure that your background is clean and clear when you're taking on these virtual interviews. Tip number 2, you want to make sure that you've tested out your video platform. Whatever video platform you're choosing to use, make sure you test it in advance of your call so there won't be any hiccups. Tip number 3, you want to make sure that you've not only tested your video, but you've also tested audio. I mean, how would it be an interview if the interviewer can't hear you? So ensure that you've troubleshooted and that you've installed and downloaded everything you need to ensure that your video and audio is working perfectly. Next tip, find a strong internet connection. Now, this can be tricky. You know, sometimes it's out of our control, but ensure that prior to your interview being scheduled, that you are in a place, or you will be in an environment that has strong internet. And very last tip, ensure that you are in a properly lit environment. So that bulb in your room needs to be working, or if you have to go out on the limb and purchase an external light, make sure you do that so that the interviewer can see you. So I hope those tips were helpful. So the next time you have a virtual interview, you ace it. All right, so we're gonna move right along. So in this conversation of the new normal, I mean, beyond acing your interviews, we also need to think about what we're doing with our cash money. Now, we're going to introduce you to an app called the Payday Investors app. Now, this app helps you easily put away money for anything you want. Is it a laptop? Is it a new iPhone? You could even save for an upcoming trip once we're able to travel again, so on and so forth. And even save for future investments like a home or any other thing that you've thought about saving for. Now, we're going to share a
During hard times, people need quick money. Now, because they need quick money, they start looking for quick loan apps. When they find quick loan apps, they realize they have terms and conditions as long as Third Mainland Bridge. With conditions as long as Third Mainland Bridge, they consider Make Money Quick alternatives. With Make Money Quick alternatives, they lose their small savings and their hope crashes. Just as their hope crashes, they wonder how they'll pay for rent, school fees, and the wedding. Then they start to sing, "Oh, had I known, had I known, had I known." As they sing, "Oh, had I known, had I known, had I known," people say, "Shebi, we told you, we told you, we told you." Don't let people say, "Shebi, we told you." Not all risks are worth taking. Download the investment app that grows your money in a regulated mutual fund. Invest right. Invest with Payday Investor. Payday Investor, powered by ARM Money Market Fund.
Please, let's not be victims of had I known, had I known. So welcome Barbara from Payday Investors to share with us what the giveaway is all about and how we can jumpstart our savings today. Hi, Barbara.
Hi, Frances. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I'm engaged.
Sure. Thank you. Thanks. Just basically to tell everyone what the giveaway is about. Payday Investor would like you to help you to start that hustle, that passion, that whatever it is you want to do. And to do that, you have to work a little bit for it. You have to go to our Payday Investor Instagram handle, which is Payday Investor NG, and answer these 2 questions. It's really the fastest fingers. Payday Investor app grows your money in a what? If you watch the video, you probably would have seen it. The video is also on our YouTube handle. The first question, Payday Investor helps you invest in what? And then the second question is, how can Payday Investor help you become more prudent with your finances, your savings, and basically with your money? How can Payday Investor help you become more prudent with your money? Hurry on to our Instagram handle, follow us, make sure you have downloaded the app, and you get your cash. Answer these 2 questions and you get your cash. Remember, the cash is to help you towards your passion or your hustle. So that money will be put into your Payday Investor account. Frances, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing, Barbara. So you all have heard Barbara. Make sure you go on to the Payday Investors Instagram page, click on the post for ARM Engage and answer the 2 questions to win some cash money and jumpstart your savings or your investments for your passion or hustle today. Thank you so much for sharing, Barbara. We look forward to having some winners. All right, so moving right along. I mean, we've heard from Mrs. Banke Lawal concerning her experiences within the beauty industry. We've heard from James Olmos sharing his trailblazing experience within the film industry. I mean, I don't know about you all, but my brain is busting with all of this practical and awesome information that we are receiving today. So I want us to engage a bit. So wherever you are, whatever platform you're watching from, whether it be Zoom, whether it be YouTube or Instagram, I want you to type in the comment section saying Mado, because all of this information that we're receiving is Mado. Well, we're gonna move right along, and I mean, no event is complete without some music, right? So I'm going to introduce our very special guest, Bez, right? So let me give you a bit of information on Bez. All right, so Bez Idakula is a multi-instrumentalist, vocalist, artist, lyricist, and creator. So from being the first African artist to premiere a video on BET, to speaking at Harvard African Business Conference, Bez proudly wears the mantle for the rich musical talent that we have here in Nigeria, as well as Africa at large. Seen as a role model for young musicians, he's a co-founder of the new venture, Music and Tech Space, an innovation space for outliers who fuse music and tech to create magic and music ecosystem. I mean, so without further ado, let us welcome Bez to ARM Engage 2020. Hey, Bez.
How's it going?
Going well. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. We're very excited to hear from you, and we're ready for you to sweep us away into your musical land.
Awesome. I really agreed with James, about what is that thing that you can do that you can't. I mean, if you're not paid for, you would do it, And when I found mine, it was music. Music was my passion, 100%. But I really had to go through that hustle as well. I mean, I remember that for 3 years, I was playing my guitar and me in a space in Ikoyi, and I'll just be playing every 2 weeks for 3 years before I even created my first album. So I had to go through that hustle because of my passion, and glad that it brought me here. So this is Super Sun. I'll tell you a bit more about it, but everybody knows that there's so many stars in the sky, but there's only one sun. And the value of the sun gives you so much. It gives you light, it gives you energy, it gives you warmth, it gives you life. That's why I want to be the super sun. I have a dream that someday I'll be the super sun. We'll be the super sun. I have a dream that someday I'll be the super sun. We'll be the super sun. Now close your eyes and think about your very own world, created in the middle of more. You can be wherever you want there. Your mind creates mystery for you to unravel. A better story than your greatest novel. You're gonna be a marvel. I'll be the super sun. We'll be the super sun. I'll be the super sun. We'll be the super sun. I have a dream that someday I'll be the super sun. We'll be the super sun. I have a dream that someday I'll be the super sun. We'll be the super sun. Now take a bow now. What's greatest in the world? Say the greatest people always want more. So let's push up the bar. Let's go there. Go there now. Here's surprise. I bet they never saw you coming. You're greater than a star. Your lights are blinding. Super sun is ever blazing. Oh. I will be the super I have a dream that someday I'll be the super sun. Will be the super sun. I have a dream that someday I'll be the super sun. Will be the super sun. Now say goodbye to the person that you were before. As you shine about 1,000,000 times more, you should know that you belong here. Now step aside for the genius and the great inventors. Go platinum and record breakers. Give it up for the winners. Oh, 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 oh. I will be the super sun. Will be the super sun. Ah, yeah. Ah, yeah. I will be the super sun. Will be the super sun. Everybody sing. I have a dream that someday I'll be the super sun. Will be the super sun. Be the super sun. I have a dream that someday I'll be the super sun. Will be the super sun. I have a dream that someday I'll be the super sun. Will be the super sun. Hey, I have a dream that someday I'll be the super sun. I am the super sun. Yeah.
Thank you for serenading us.
Thank you, thank you.
Quick question though, before you jet, what inspired?
Yo, I looked at my life one time and I'm like, I found out that my purpose was to add value through music, using music as the vehicle. And I looked around and everybody wanted to just be a superstar for themselves, have a great name, buy the cars, the fancy cars, and the house and all of that. But I'm like, if I can be that one artist, or if everybody can follow me and be that artist that can add a lot of value to other people, that would be super amazing. And I looked around and I saw that the sun, there's only one sun, and that sun adds a lot of value. It gives you light, it gives you warmth, it gives you life, it gives you energy. And then I'm like, listen, instead of being a superstar, which there's nothing wrong with that, I'd rather be the super sun.
Come on. Behind the song. So before do you have any parting words for our viewers out there?
I would say, listen, for Newton's third law, right? For every force, there's an equal and opposite reaction. What that means is whatever you put in, you would see. You can't go to the farm and plant corn and then you see beans. It's impossible. So once you put in great energy, great vibes, a lot of love, a lot of great value to other people's lives, and a lot of hard work, you would see the results. So guys, put in that hard work, put in the great vibes and the great energy, and you will see the results.
Shout out to your wisdom. Don't leave us, but
I shall not depart.
Thank you so much, Bez. We appreciate you joining us this evening at ARM Engage 2020.
Thank you for having me.
All right. I'm sure you all enjoyed that musical performance from Bez. But if you take a look at your screen this minute, you'll see once again the free airtime codes. So if you missed out on the previous slide or the previous numbers, this is your chance to win big again. So don't snooze this time so you won't lose. This is another opportunity for you to get some free airtime. So plug in these numbers, shop, into your mobile phone and go ahead and see how lucky you can get. Now, if you're on Instagram, remember that you have the opportunity to win. But you'll check through the comment section for any numbers being dropped by the handle ARM Engage 2020. May the force be with you guys. All right, so earlier I mentioned we would have 3 amazing speakers and 1 musical guest. It's come to my attention that unfortunately our 3rd speaker, Mr. Macaroni, Debo Adebayo, who I was looking forward to, unfortunately is having some technical difficulties. So we will have to move right along, but hopefully in the next ARM Engage, we'll have some more amazing speakers. Oh, I I told you we're filled with surprises. So it looks like Deva is back online and should be joining us shortly. So I'll go ahead and introduce him. All right, so Deva Adebayo, popularly known as Mr. Macaroni, is an entertainer, content creator, performer, and producer, right? He started his acting career in 2012 and further ventured into media content only last year. He has been a genuine self-made celebrity with a following of over 2 million and a reach of over 10 million across the social media platforms. Wow. So I'm looking forward to meeting Mr. Macaroni for several reasons. I mean, first, I want him to teach me how to make that noise that he does, because I don't think I know how to do it. But other than that, let's welcome Mr. Macaroni to AIM Engage 2020. How are you, Deva?
Hi, you are doing well. You are doing well. What's going on there? Are you there?
I'm there. I'm here.
Fantabulous. You know, the network was not doing well from this side. You know, ARM network is too sharp. So any network that is not correlating with, you get it. So, but I'm happy that I'll be able to tap into ARM's network. Are you there?
We're here.
Amazing.
You have an amazing profile, right? And I'm understanding that you started content creating only last year. And I mean, some of us call you the viral king. And I mean, a lot
Right.
of that, this new normal that we have, and digital is now king. And so many of us are tapping into content creation. So I want to share your journey with us and mainly focus on the fact that you've been able to hop on a trend and make it work for you. So the viewers would love to hear more about your story. So take it away.
Right. So, in all honesty, this content creation for online media was never part of my plans, if you ask me. Yeah, I studied theater arts. I've always been about entertainment. I want to do movies. I want to do soap operas. I want to be in the movie industry, in the movie business. When a lot of people started this online skits and all of those, I was just like, what's up? What's going on? Because I never for once imagined that I would also find myself in that space. So I started acting as far back as 2012. I started going for auditions, movie auditions, soap operas, I was doing it. And, the way the industry is, sometimes talent is not just enough. Yeah. So it was more like I was just doing it. And there was nothing to show for it. I wasn't getting the exposure that I wanted for myself. So guess what led me into intentionally creating content for online media, for social media, so to say? It was depression.
Oh, wow.
Yes. I was tired. I was frustrated. I was like, what's happening? For someone like me, I don't see myself doing any other thing apart from entertainment. So that, that's always been my turf. And I've always said, this is just what I want to do. I'm a performer. I like to express myself. I like this, when the art lives within you, art is expressive. You cannot hide it. You always want to express that art, and you want for people to look at that art and either appreciate it or say something about it. You just want your work to be out there. So, I was just tired. I'm like, okay, what's going on? And then I started seeing everyone, the social media people doing their thing, and a lot of people were following them. A lot of people were relating with their content. And I'm like, okay, if the movies, the soap operas, all of those things that I say by force, that's what I want to do. If it's not working right now, what is acting? What is performance? What is entertainment? It's basic information, education, perhaps societal rejuvenation. Basically, you're just doing something. You're expressing yourself.
That is art. I said, so why not start something by yourself? If the movie producers will not call you, if the series producers will not call you, why not do something for yourself? You have your head is working, right? Why not write one or two things down and just do it? If you have nothing to lose. So at that point, what I now tell people is you actually have nothing to lose when you try these things out. So it's better than not doing anything at all, because you never can tell what will actually take you to where you want to be or even beyond. So basically that was it. And I just said, I just have to start something. I started this last year.
Wow.
This is July. Yes, I think I started July last year. I started creating content intentionally. I've been doing other things. I've been doing this, doing that, but it wasn't intentional. I was doing it because, that was the way I could express the arts. That was the way I could do this. But then I now started to say, look, this is Debo. This is the brand Mr. Macaroni. Now, this is what I want to do. Mr. Macaroni, as an actor or as an entertainer, I want to create different characters, and I want to use those characters to entertain, to inform, to educate society. I want people to see maybe their friends, maybe their fathers, maybe someone they know. I just want people to see through the characters, whatever character I portray. Not necessarily me. It could be my daughter in my stories. It could be my wife. It could be the people I perform with. So I just want people to always take away something. And that is what art is about. That is what entertainment is about. So I said, you know what? Start something and see how far it goes. And we thank God we're here. And
amazing.
we're doing well.
I have to actually thank you. I have to thank you for what you're doing online, because there's no better time than now for us to be laughing. So thank you for the content that you're pushing out. You did mention that there was a point where you felt like talent wasn't enough, right? So at that time, I'm sure you received some negative feedback from maybe friends or family. How did you cope with that?
My kind of person, even till now, I've always been someone that I express myself. However I see, whatever it is, I'm outspoken. I mention those things. I say those things. So when I started, if I'm going to be honest with you, right from always, family, if it comes to family, I've never had issues with family. Anything I do, any step I take, anything I so decide to do, I always have the full support of my family.
Amazing.
I think that's one amazing thing that God just blessed me with. You understand that? And then, okay, of course, you have some, although, sometimes we will always do things the wrong way. Sometimes, we go wrong sometimes, but we can only make those mistakes so we can learn and do better for ourselves. So I've never had issues with family, but those times when I make mistakes, they're always quick to say, no, I don't think you should be doing this. I don't think you should be doing that. So, but then my friends, generally, I think the feedback I was getting when I first started was from, random guys, they just talking and what's this one doing? It will always come. And that's what I tell people now. There are people like that, they'll just, what's this one doing? Doesn't even make sense. It doesn't, and I cannot lie that sometimes comments like that, although it might be vile, I always say that in this part of the world, I don't think we know what criticism is all about. People here think criticism is saying rubbish, it's doing nonsense, it's doing jargons. That's not criticism. You want to criticize someone's work, you tell them. You tell them this is the work. You put the work down and say, oh, this is what is good about this work, and this is what is bad about this work. You understand? And you can criticize without being abusive, without making the person feel less of themselves. So initially it was just about, oh, what's this rubbish? And then sometimes I see some things that I can change in the characters I portray. I see sometimes how I can do it better. And I think now it's really helped me into further creating the brand and showing what I really want the people to get.
Really important. I I think it's really important that, as we embrace this new normal where digital is everything, that you made a very key point that it does have its downside concerning like trolling and making negative comments. So we all should bear in mind that as people progress or as people chase their dreams, all they really need is encouragement. But if you do have some criticism, make sure it's done in a proper manner, right?
Yes, of course.
We do have a question from the audience. You have some fans here. We have someone asking, who are your top 3 Nigerian comedy skit makers on social media? And are you interested in stand-up comedy?
Okay, so to everyone watching this video, I need to tell you that you are doing well. I need to tell you that you are fantabulous. I need to tell you that you are amazing. I'm happy that you're even here, and then you're listening to a small boy like me. Well done. You're doing well. You're doing well. Okay, so if you ask me, top 3 skit makers in Nigeria currently, well, maybe it's good that you said currently, because I think I have a whole lot of them. I have a whole lot of guys that I love and that I admire so much, and that help me to do better for myself rather. But then right now, if I just look on the surface level, Tauma is beautiful performer. I like her works. Twice, oh my, Twice. I don't joke with Twice. Like I said, there are plenty. And then Maraji. Now Maraji is talent, man. A whole lot. There's Brother Shaggy, there's Officer Woz. I can't continue to, I think everyone is doing well. What I really think is that people have their style, people have the way that they perform. And I think that everyone is unique in their own ways, and we should always acknowledge that fact.
Amazing. Extremely right. And I'm happy that you were bold enough to share some of your, other industry titans that are working within the same.
Oh, of course.
As you. So I do have another question.
Okay.
I want to know where you got the inspiration for the name Mr. Macaroni, and let's make this PG-13.
Right. So people do not usually believe, but the name just came randomly. It's nothing deep. I was on set. I think that was 2014 or 15 thereabout. It was face-to-face comedy series. So I was playing. Then it's extra. They would just tell you, you just come, do maybe one waka pass, do this, and you bounce away from the set. So it wasn't any major role. So the name in the particular episode, the character rather, in that particular episode that I was playing had no name. You know how they write scripts sometimes, they'll just be like, man, one comes to so place, or so boy, nameless character. So, but I think the director wanted for the character to have a name. So he goes, hey, you, give yourself a name there. And I'm like, okay, Mr. Macaroni, because, there's this vibe that Mr. Macaroni is a jolly good fellow, at least from the nursery school rhyme. So Macaroni riding on the bicycle. So then I thought, okay, this is a comedy something now. So why not Mr. Macaroni? And then since that time, it's stuck.
Amazing story. I mean, it gives inspiration for even people who are doing waka pass roles. So you never know.
Exactly. Just continue doing it. Oh, one day, you just see.
Question, and we'll let you jet.
Okay.
I want to know, have you ever felt like giving up? I mean, being online in itself has its pressures, and the fact that you're creating content not only for your brand but for other brands. I'm sure that there's increased pressure. So have you ever felt like giving up or felt like this was just too much?
Yes. So right from when I was, when I was struggling with this and all of that, I mentioned that at the point I was depressed. You see, but even at that moment, since that time, I have never for once imagined or thought that I was going to leave acting or performing or entertainment to do another thing. Because that is what I am passionate about. And I know, especially in this part of the world where things sometimes do not go the way we want, our passion is not necessarily what we end up doing, because of course we have to survive and all of that. But if you're asking me, I never thought of giving. I said, this thing I must do, and I will continue to do it. Even when I was in my little space, but I just said, this is, in fact, I was so desperate to perform, to express myself, that I started my theater troupe. I called a group of my guys together, and we're touring schools, we were doing shows, we'll be drumming, singing, dancing, and acting. So it wasn't really that because maybe I was thirsty for fame or anything. It was because I just wanted to express myself.
Yeah.
I just wanted, if you, as an artist, if you bottle up all of that talent, all of that art within you, you will get depressed. You will just get frustrated. So now, glory to God, now we are here, and trust me, I don't even think about it. Yes, sometimes I'm overwhelmed. And I'm like, oh, because when all of this started, trust me, I was overwhelmed. I'm like, I don't know, one day I stepped out of my house and this guy be this, Mr. Well, okay, easy. What's up? What's going on? So it was, at some point, it was overwhelming. Even till now, sometimes I get some vibes, but trust me, giving up is never one of them. I just keep cracking my head. I keep reading. I keep exploring. I just want to keep doing things so that this art will never die.
Man, Mr. Macaroni, not only are you funny, but you are a true inspiration. And
Thank you.
And you are doing well.
You are doing well. You are doing well. Send me your account number. Send me.
No problem.
Don't send it to.
So much for joining us at ARM Engage 20.
Thank you.
My
pleasure. My pleasure to be here. Thank you.
All right. So I'm sure you all had an amazing time hearing from Mr. Macaroni. As we move right along, if you take a look at your screen right now, those numbers are up again. And you know the drill this time. Put those numbers into your mobile phone so that you have a chance to win big. Don't dull. I'm not sure if there's going to be another one of these coming up. So take advantage of winning some free airtime now. And again, if you're on Instagram watching, you have the opportunity to win twice. So go ahead and look through the comment section and see if you see any numbers from the handle ARM Engage 2020. All right, so what an evening, what a day, what an amazing session. I mean, I'm not even sure where to start at this point, but we've heard from Mrs. Banke Lawal. She shared her experience within the beauty industry and when passion is just not enough. We've heard from James Olmos. He shared his experience breaking through the film industry and producing such a fascinating showcase at Joche, which we shared earlier. And then we've also heard from the popular Mr. Macaroni, who only started content creating last year and has a reach of 10 million. And then, of course, we heard from our musical guest, Bez, who shared some inspiration behind his song, Super Sun. I mean, I don't know about you all, but I am inspired to the max. I'm inspired to keep pushing forward. I'm inspired to take my passion to the next level, and I'm inspired to make my hustle work for me. We're not all the way at the end yet. We're getting there, but we're not there yet. I'm going to have Abisala Onibogi, the Director Technical of ARM Pensions, give us a vote of thanks here today. Hi, Abisala.
Hi, Francis. How you doing? Well done. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly, Francis.
All right. It's a pleasure having you. Have you been enjoying the event, the sessions that have been going on? Looks like we're having a bit of trouble.
It's been fantastic. It's amazing what Nigerians, it's yeah. So let me just say a few words. Like you rightly said, I mean, it's been an interesting evening, and I'd like to express our sincere thanks and appreciation to Banke, to James, to Bez. I've always enjoyed Bez's work and his music, and also to Debo. It's amazing his story and how he said that his kids came out of his frustrated position. But look at him today. One thing that struck me with most of these people, especially as it relates to the target market for the ARM engaged participants, is that for a lot of them, they more or less went into this, their passion, to provide for their daily need. But what you can then find in the real world is that sometimes for most of us, it's not always like that. Some of us are in good jobs that we like, that provides for us, but we also have passions that we would like to pursue. I think the example of these four individuals, what it portends for us is to say that no matter what it is you're doing, you can always find time to invest in that passion, to find time to do things that you enjoy, that give you an avenue to relax and unleash outside the stress of whatever your core 9 to 5 is. I'd like to say a big thank you to everyone that has worked behind the scenes to put this together. It's been fantastic, and I look forward to seeing you guys at our next event. Thank you very much, Frances. You are doing well.
Thank you so much, Abisala. All right, so we've come to the very end of our event here today. Meaning it's time to carry takeaway packs, essentially. So it's been a great pleasure being here with you all at ARM Engage, the virtual experience, and I look forward to the next sessions. But before I run, remember that at the end of this session, you'll see a screen with all of the numbers that have been shared previously, so that you can win your share of the free airtime that we're giving out. So make sure you plug in these numbers as quick as you can into your mobile phone so that you can win big. Thank you all so much. It's been a pleasure hosting this inspirational.
This I be talking true. I'm addicted to cash. Why don't you leave me, Jaja? Why don't you leave me, Jaja? Why don't you leave me, Jaja? I'm addicted to cash. Over the money, I'm working, I gotta go. The people be asking me, oh lady, well, we know it's not for the money. It's not for the fame, it's not for the paper, it's not for money. I'm addicted to cash. Now me they do, play by my rules. I dey sabi talk it true. I'm addicted to cash. Now me they do, play by my rules. I dey sabi talk it true. I'm addicted to cash. Why don't you leave me, Jaja? Why don't you leave me, Jaja? Why don't you leave me, Jaja? I'm addicted to cash. I'm addicted to cash. I'm addicted to cash. It's KD.
I'm a ruler, yakta for my cooler. Pretty sure he's screaming what is pull out the vibes. We done the high. Kalakuta rolling vuvuzela. Jumbo J's puffing like I'm fella. Can't deny. I'm must enjoy. I live my life with an old dead babe and old dead friends. Yeah, we getting mad lit in our daddy's bands. They say people they rude, but we know to send. Everybody pretty, so they go yeah, well, oh yeah, they go yeah. I say no be yeah. Like a lazy snack, no be debonair. With your sound dress, long hair, I no underwear. She gon' bust it down on the ground when nobody's there. Time of our lives. We are still young. We need some fun. I feel alive, but I'm still numb. But I'm still numb. Pour Henny on rocks, rocks. Dang Jamie on rocks, rocks. I don't wanna talk, I just wanna drink some. Probably hit some. Pour Henny on rocks, rocks. Dang Jamie on rocks, rocks. Turn all the way up. I just wanna drink some. Probably hit some when I'm catching rocks.
Like crazy. Some of those to have my baby. It's too fresh, you drive them crazy. Got them, they lazy. Oh yeah, you cannot play me. No, you're not lady. Oh yeah, I heard you want to come here close to me. I can make sure you have a good time, but me have a good time. Make sure that they don't know. Come and rock that when we come and shake that up. Make sure they don't know. Have a good time, but we have a good time. Make sure they don't know. Come and shake that when we come and shake that. Down to the floor. I know, say, you know want to play tonight. I'm back there. Oh yeah. Need to relax and good. Need to show me what you can do.
Time of our lives. We are still young. We need some fun. I feel alive, but I'm still numb. But I'm still numb. Pour Henny on rocks, rocks. Dang Jamie on rocks.
I know, say, you know want to play tonight. I'm back there. Need to relax and good. Need to show me what you can do.
They say, oh my God, I see the way you shine. Take your hand, my dear, and place them both in mine.